Johan, my man, how you doing,
Oh,
brother?
yeah, good, good. How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. Thanks for doing this with me, bro.
Yeah, nah, I was excited to do this actually.
Yeah,
Different, something new.
you do many interviews.
Nah, not really. I only did one like last year. It was for church. Oh, one accord for our church podcast. I think that was the
Okay,
only time I got interviewed.
I didn't know you did a podcast.
Oh no, it was the church podcast, but they did like one for the interns.
Okay,
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just do that. And
nice,
then that was
mate. Well,
yeah.
welcome to Talk to Me, the show where I get my friends to talk to me. Today, I have Johan. We've been mates for what, 4 or 5 years now, bro?
Yeah, pretty
Something
much.
like that.
I think
And
so.
you jumped onto the intern train probably a year and a half after I did.
Yeah.
What got you onto that, bro? How'd you jump onto that?
Wow. Um, I think it started with youth workers. So after I graduated, um, he got us year 12s just to run a Wednesday night service. So we'd run the games, we'll do the welcome, and then I think Pastor Tom was going to preach for us. I think it was there at the time. Then after that, we were like, oh, this is kind of cool. We want to do it again. And then Pastor came to to a few of us. I think it was about 6 or 7 of us, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to become the youth workers for launch, which is our team ministry?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, let's go for it." So we were planning all the events, we were running it, and then Pastor would preach. Some of us would preach as well. And then we had our camp, which was the Avengers camp, which
Hmm.
is part one. And God was already working on my heart a bit, and I think it was during TNS. I forgot about this TNS. It was when we had Skelly and um,
Miller?
Miller, yeah, and then it was with the
Yeah,
blue
yeah, I remember
ribbon.
that service.
Right? Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, I surrendered to full time ministry. I was praying with Ben, I think,
Hmm.
and then Ben told Pastor, and then I talked to Pastor, and then yeah, he didn't really ask me to be an intern. Yeah, I think he was still praying about it. And then during camp, I think he asked me, "Hey, do you want to become one of the interns at our church?" I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't know what intern was other than like you, Ray. I didn't really know what it was. I didn't ask because I didn't really care, to
I
be
was the
honest.
I was the guinea pig for like two churches, three churches. Every
No,
time someone
I
wanted
was
to
the
know what
guinea
an
pig.
intern
I was the
was, they'd
guinea
ask
pig as
me.
soon as I started as well.
You were guinea pig too?
um, yeah, I was the guinea pig. I was the first intern. Oh, Pastor was an intern,
Yeah.
but for Pastor Hernan, I was the first one, so
Okay.
I was the guinea pig. Um, and yeah, oh no, 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 I keep forgetting the story. I keep messing up my storytelling. So it's like everywhere. So
Yeah, yeah, fair
just
enough. Okay, so let's recap it for a sec. So there's TNS that played a big part in you surrendering, but it was also the fact that you got involved in ministry straight after high
yeah.
school. So you were 18 when you started in ministry?
Yeah.
Did you do any ministry prior to that, or was that the first?
I was doing ushering.
Okay, so you were involved in church in general,
Yeah, yeah,
but it was when you started teaching and taking control of the
yeah.
youth that it was sort of
I think it's just a build up.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
start something small and then you just keep growing.
And I think that's how God does it anyway. There's that stock standard verse: "Be faithful in the little things; I make you faithful in the big things."
Yeah,
So it sort of started building.
yeah.
That's
Because
awesome.
I wasn't really praying about it. I wasn't really keen on it. It just came up, and I
Then
was
what
like,
did you want
okay.
to do after school?
I wanted to become a copper.
Ah, dead set.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's a
yeah.
big
I did.
shift, bro.
Yeah, I did like a 6 month course
Uh huh.
for it, online course, and then you go straight to Goulburn.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, even before TNS, I was like, God, if you want me to do this, just show me. If not, show me.
Yeah, yeah, fair
And
enough.
yeah, if you're gonna pray that, expect an answer because God really answered it.
He answered it
I
like straight
gotta,
away for
yeah,
you, bro. That's awesome.
right. I got a fine while driving.
Yeah.
So what happens when you get a fine? You have to wait a year from the day you got that fine because your records have to be clear in order to go to the
Yeah,
police
yeah,
account.
that's right.
Yeah, and when I wait a year, my certificate gets expired.
You're kidding. So it just fell
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, God, you answered it. What now?
He
And
really
then I
just
went
put
to
a stop to it.
TNS. Yeah. And it was crazy. Like I really wanted to become a copper.
Mm.
'Cause, yeah.
Was it
I-
hard letting go of that?
Yeah. Even now it comes up like, oh, I wonder what it would be like. Cause I would see like a copper driving, like, oh, that would have been me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's
I
one of
guess
the
that's for everyone though. Every once in a while it'll just come up.
Yeah, it's one of those things like I was experiencing it today actually. And I was just
Yeah.
thinking about something that I wanted to do and I was like, what would life have been like if I did go down that pathway? But it's always
What was your thing? What
I,
do you want to do?
I had a couple of things, but I think the one thing that I was really passionate about was directing. I've always loved making stuff, making
Yeah.
content in general. So I've always thought about what would have happened if I actually took the bull by the horns and went for it.
Yeah.
But be straight out, I'm so glad I didn't because it's just a completely different lifestyle.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is God lets you take your dream or the thing that you wanted to do, and He lets you use it in ministry as well.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
I was like, you're still doing it. The
yeah,
kids
just
in
in a
doing
completely
it.
different way that I thought I never would. Like, first off, I never actually thought I would ever put a podcast together.
Yeah.
And this is something I love doing. Stat and I were talking about it the other day. We just love sitting down, talking, and then chucking it up, seeing the
Yeah.
response. But then, stuff that's happening at church, I'm getting chances to direct. I'm getting chances to do what I always wanted to. So God does open those doors, bro. Don't be too
Yeah.
down on it. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, yeah.
So yeah, so what was that? So you joined the internship, you get into
Yeah.
the program. How's it feel? How's it feel being an intern? What's the I guess what's the biggest thing that you didn't expect from the program?
Okay. So when I first started, my my initial thought of what an intern was would be like, okay, pastor would tell me to do one thing for the week. I would have classes every time I come in. Um, I'll be just under his wing. I'll just be doing whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's completely different. It's more like, here, I'm gonna put you. So I kind of look at it as like, when you're in a car, right? Your parents are driving, you're at the back seat.
Mm.
That's kind of, your back seat is when you're like, doing the small. I'm not saying it's small, but it's just like your starter ministries. So like for me, ushering, I was at the back seat.
Mm.
When I start interning, now I'm on like the passenger seat at the front.
Yeah.
So I see all the problems, like where we're going, what's happening with the car. You see the problems. So you kind of see the broader picture of what the church is.
Yeah.
So that's what I understood. I'm like, wow, there's actually a lot that happens.
And that's probably the biggest thing about being an intern, to be honest, is
Yeah.
you see all of the stuff that's going down.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of dirty work.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I think is I probably regret saying this online, but it's probably my favorite part about being an intern was doing all that dirty work. As frustrating as it was, it's one of the best parts for sure.
Yeah.
Because you're just doing the stuff that you never thought needed to be done or you never thought you were going to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it the same for you?
Yeah. It's pretty much the same for me.
Yep. So how long have you been in the internship now?
Pardon?
How long have you been in the internship now?
I started 2019, mid 2019. So a year.
So
now 2 years now.
2 years.
Yeah.
And
It's been 2 years.
when's it finish?
It's a bit different because they said it was 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But Pastor EJ said like he's still interning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you ever stop doing those small tasks. I think that's just ministry in general, and that's probably the most humbling part about it is that no matter what your quote unquote position is, you're still doing the dailies. You know what I mean? I love that. I think that's the best part because at the end of the day, you're doing it for God. It's keeping you grounded, and it helps you go. So, what do you want to do after the internship? What's the goal? What's the plan? What do you think God's got for you?
I'm not sure yet. We're trying to figure out who our next pastor will be, and that will kind of determine.
Yeah, man, that's a big thing to be going through. How you doing with it?
Yeah. Well, at first it didn't really hit me, but then I I think when Pastor left for 2 weeks, I think kind of hit like, oh, he's actually leaving. Like we're going to
So that
be,
he's not there anymore, and it's sort of like, okay,
yeah.
this is what's going to
So
feel like.
yeah, so me and Sam were just like, who knows what will happen? Like,
Yeah.
might change it, might keep it. So yeah, we're just kind of keeping it open.
It's an interesting time to be in, bro. It's
Yeah,
it's one where God really does test you. He really does show you a lot of different things, you know what I mean?
yeah. It really shows like if you're really there for, just for show, or you're really there because you want to grow.
Yeah, 100%. Do you have an idea of what you want to do in the future though? Or are you just open to wherever God leads?
I'm open to anything, but just from where God's leading me now, I think it's more of being a layman, or
Okay.
just being or like an assistant pastor. But like even though God can change that and be like you're going to be a pastor of a church, like
Of course, bro. Listen,
follow it.
the
Yeah,
one thing that the internship taught me was you might have your idea of what God wants, but He'll change that eventually.
yeah,
And that, again, one of the exciting parts about being in an internship program is I always thought I was just going to be teaching kids. I
yeah,
thought that was it. I thought that would be the height of my ministry, whatever it is. But he's shown that it's going to be a little bit more than that.
yeah.
He gave me a love.
You kind of do everything basically.
Yeah, pretty
Do
much. I
everything.
mean, that I think I love that. I think that I don't know if you can really put that in a job description.
Nah,
I just
it's
love
just
being involved in everything, and God really he's made that possible in a different way, like a way that wasn't expected.
mm,
So yeah, I get to see a lot of different parts of ministry, even though I might not have a hand in certain ministries. I do get to play a part in that ministry in some way. So that's really cool.
yeah,
That's really
yeah,
cool. One thing about internships that I guess I really want to talk about is the fact that people don't know about them, right? I know at our church, it's a very unknown sort of pathway for
yeah,
teenagers. And I want to change that because I think, first off, for me, the internship program changed my life.
yeah,
Bible college also changed my life. So the balance between those two really affected me big time. And I think the reason for that is, one, the internship showed me what ministry actually is,
yeah,
changed my perception of it. And two, Bible college taught me how to study. I
yeah,
hated school, didn't hate school. I hated studying in school. So I
yeah,
never studied. I just was coasting by most of my high school years. But once I got into Bible college, I told the Lord, I go, listen, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to do it right. So I made a commitment with him that I would strive to get A's in every class. So it taught me how to study. It changed my mindset in Bible study.
yeah.
I want to see that happen in other people. So it definitely did mature me. What do you think is the biggest hindrance in someone joining an internship program?
Mm. Yeah, I think it is that uncertainty.
Mm,
I think some people think that when you go become an intern, it means you're going to become a pastor of a church, which is not true.
100%.
It can happen, but it's a stage where you're not unsure. You just graduated. I think it's a great thing if like guys or like the teens, once they graduate, do an internship at least a year.
Mm,
Because like for me, I would recommend it because it helped me mature. It helped me understand what, like as you said, helped you understand what ministry is in the background. You understand what the leaders go through,
yeah.
so that when you understand all that, when you have a family, and you're able to you're a role model to everyone, you can understand. Oh, this guy needs help. You can go and help them. You can see the problems that other people don't see,
Yeah.
which is a big help.
Yeah, 100%. And do you guys have a pathway to get into an internship program, or is it just come up and ask?
Um, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think it's just when mm,
And see, that's my
yeah,
concern. That's my thing, is that I was the guinea pig for our internship program. So obviously it took a while for things to play out, things to go down. But I don't think teenagers look at ministry and see it as a viable option. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like everyone thinks, oh no, it's a very small niche. But I'd really love ministry to be looked at like an apprenticeship or a uni degree or whatever. Like I could work for God for a living, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, if they're called into it and, you know, all the spiritual side of things take place. But I would love to see more teenagers saying, I want to be in ministry full time. That's what God's calling me to. And here's the pathway to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's not really a guideline per se. That's why I was finding it hard to answer the question.
Yeah.
But like pastor was like, hey, become an intern. Like, you know, when you graduate, just come serve the church, come in like 1 or 2 days, just do some work. And I'm like, yeah, that's like, it's good. Like for me, when I first started, it was kind of weird. I was like, oh,
It's
why am I
different.
doing this? You know,
Yeah.
I could be working, getting a bit more money. But, you know, after a year and a bit, like I understand, like, you know, it helps mature you. It helps you understand, you know, you're serving because you want to, not have to. And it also changes your heart when you know, when you come on a Sunday morning, it helps when you like pray and prepare your heart.
Yeah.
Before you serve, it makes a big difference.
And how do you find the sacrifice, bro? Because it's a massive sacrifice. How do you find it?
It is a challenge. You know, things will come up and it will test you. And will be like, do you really want to do this? Like, are you doing this for the Lord or are you doing it for yourself? And it really shows like your faith in that time. You know, people questioning you, oh, what are you doing? Like, do you know what you're doing? What are you doing after this? Like I get asked this at work.
Yeah.
And I tell them like, well, I'm just following the Lord.
Yeah.
And they find it so hard to understand that.
I think my favorite one that people say to me is, oh, come on, man, you work for a church. It can't be that busy. It can't be that busy. That's my favorite one. And the boys know that, so they rip into me all the time. They say it to me constantly. They go, oh, you're not doing anything. You're just doing church work. But at times it can be like the heaviest stuff in the world. And it's sacrificing those hours, man. That's rough. So how do you balance that work, Bible college, and family?
Yeah. Well, luckily I haven't started Bible college.
Haven't you? I thought you were doing some courses.
I was supposed to, but then, you know, some technical difficulties.
Sure.
As per usual.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to figure that out. With everything else, I kind of, so pastor gave me like a timetable and he just said, put in the time, write down what are you going to do in your study blocks. And I've tried to do that and I find it hard. I love going on the wing.
Yeah.
But, you know, you save more time when you actually, you know, schedule it properly. And I always have one day off where I just don't do anything. It's like my free time.
Yeah.
Which kind of helps because you kind of just, you know, you don't want to overwork yourself to the point where you're just angry and moody while you're serving.
Yeah, you burn yourself out hard.
Yeah. So I kind of put Sunday as church time. That's priority. That's like a non-negotiable. And during camp, this year, Pastor Highlander talked about non-negotiables.
Okay.
What that basically means is the things that you're going to do no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go to church on Sunday. You know, someone might ask me to work, but not Sunday is my priority. Some people some people have soul winning as their priority. That's their non-negotiable. So this year I've kind of put that into place and that really helped me kind of stand up to what I believe in. And so I've made sure that Wednesdays and Sundays are church time. That's non-negotiable. Yeah.
Do you think that's Christianity in general? I mean, I've had this conversation a couple of times. I know I had it with Jordan in last week's episode. Priorities shifting is a massive part of maturing in the Christian life. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
How hard do you think it is to shift those priorities? I mean, you just said you did it recently. So how hard was it to start doing that?
It's just one step at a time, really. You just got to take that first step. You know, sometimes people try to do it all at once, and that's hard, especially when you've been doing it for a long time. Whatever it is that you're changing. I think you just take small steps, just change. Okay, for this month, I'm going to go Sunday morning or Sunday night, build it up slowly if you can't do it straight away, and always have someone accountable to you.
Mm.
I think that's one thing that helped as well.
Yeah, interesting. It's a fair point. I think you're right. I think when you look at it from far away, you look at the big picture, it's like, bro, how do I get there? But you're right, just taking those small steps will help you shift your life balance. And how do you balance family? Because for me, I found that was the hardest part at the start. Was I put way too much time into ministry, way too much time into work, and my family suffered for it. So it wasn't until I think it was year 2 of my internship that I started looking at things. And I was like, I'm not spending nearly enough time with them. How do you do that?
Yeah, it was kind of like that before COVID. Like I would be coming home late at night, I'd have all this ministry stuff, then go out at night with everyone and then come back late, wake up in the morning, leave early, go for work. So I'd rarely see them. I only see them like when I'm getting food, basically.
Yeah.
But that kind of changed during COVID. I think we got a bit closer. We were able to have like a devotion time together, the night time, which we haven't done like for so long. But I'm glad we did that. Like my dad, we would sing together with no piano. It would sound a bit off, but it was still good. Like I enjoyed it.
So you guys went back to like early childhood days of family
early
devotion.
childhood. You sit together.
That's awesome.
You sit, sing, and then read. You'd fall asleep sometimes as a kid.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like my dad would read, and then he'll just like teach to us and preach, and then we'll pray together, which was really good. And I think we've gotten a bit closer after that. Every so often we're still busy. Like sometimes like in weeks, I wouldn't even see my sister, see my parents. But every so often, like we'll sit together and talk.
It's just about making that time, eh?
Yeah. So we'll kind of have those time slots where we're just together. So yeah. And then now we're in lockdown, so we're together now.
How are you dealing with lockdown? How do you structure yourself?
First few days I was still kind of not in lockdown mode.
Yeah,
it's still hard for me. I think once the other restrictions came in, okay, I got to be following it now properly.
Yeah.
I think it's still good because I'm still able to go to work because I work in a hospital, so they can't really close down. I can still go to church because I'm an essential worker. And then I started biking as well as one of my exercises now, since all the gyms are closed.
So you're still getting out of the house then? You still got chances to go and do stuff, keep some structure in. Can I ask you, because I was thinking,
I don't stay at home as much.
Yeah, fair. So let me ask you this then, because I was thinking about this yesterday. Just thinking about my own life and how much of a struggle lockdown makes it for me to actually get into my Bible reading and into my quiet time, like my time with God, shutting everything off. You'd think being at home this much and having not a lot to do would make it easier. It actually makes it so much harder. You get so unmotivated. Do you find the same thing?
Yeah. I think it's because you have too much time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
just have everything at home. So you're like,
I'll do it later.
Do it a bit later. And then you just do something else and you just waste time.
So when do you do when do you have your time with God? When is it?
I find it hard because I wake up early in the morning for work. So I kind of, when I'm working the next day, I have it the night before.
Yep.
That's one of my things. And then if I can't do it at night, I kind of do it after work, or I just kind of listen to someone read the Bible as I go to work.
Nice.
But yeah, I find it hard in the morning before work. It's hard for me. So I kind of alter it so it's a nighttime.
Okay, nice. So you're winding down for the day and that's when you read.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So what's the plan for the future? Where do you see yourself like moving? Is it just continuing this, or do you see some things opening up? What do you reckon?
I think right now it's just internship and just working where I'm at. I think once next year hits, I think the next step will come up. I honestly don't know what's next, to be honest.
Does that scare you, or are you excited by that? Not knowing.
It does come up. Like I want some safety, if you know what I mean. Like you want
Security.
to have a stable job, stable income, yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
You don't know what to
Yeah, for
expect, but
sure.
you know that God's in control.
For sure. I think it happened. It happened a lot of times for me. Actually, there were multiple points within my internship. So I've just come to the end of it. So
Yeah,
I've literally just finished it off. We're done. We're actually just talking now about what I'm going to be doing next at the church.
yeah,
But I remember a lot of times, I think it was once every 3 to 6 months, I would have a conversation with my mate Mark or my mate Dave. And I'd look at him, I go, boys, am I doing the right thing here? Or have I just wasted a year and a half? Have I wasted 2 years?
mm,
And they'd always ask me, like, why are you thinking that? Why do you feel like that? I go, just because I don't have any clarity. I don't know what I'm
yeah,
doing.
yeah,
They said, okay, well, think about it this way. Do you believe that you're in God's will at the moment? I go, 100%. I think this is exactly what he wants me to do. So they'd say, okay, then don't worry about the future. He's got that sorted. Understandable, we want to build our futures properly so that we can prepare for our families and whatever.
yeah,
But the biggest thing is just trying to stay on top of, but not worry about what the future is going to bring.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So man, just keep pushing, keep going, man, because I think that's the coolest part I want to say, but also the most stressful part is just not
Yeah.
knowing.
Yeah.
Is not
Because you,
knowing.
you think about it like every so often, like you said, you just think about it, you ask questions, and then you just gotta get back into it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your advice to young Yohan? Take a look at 10 years ago, Yohan. What are you telling him? If you had to tell him one thing, something to help him push.
Mm, 10 years ago, I would have started high school, I think. Um, just keep serving.
Just keep serving.
That's when I started serving, and I was just like, you know, I think it was the first time I was ushering. I was ushering with Luke. He got me into it. I just say keep serving.
And
Serving God.
your advice to anyone listening to this or watching this, or what's your one thing they want to take away from your life at the moment?
Um, Look, if you're in a position where you're in year 12 or you just graduated and you're still not sure what you're doing, just serve in church.
Mm.
Like just talk to your pastor in any way. Like if you're a boy, like do an internship. Like do 1 year at least. If you're not sure, at least like use that time to serve God, and then just figure it out as you go. If you want to study during internship, do it as well. I did that for a bit. Um, but yeah, just don't waste your time. You have a limited amount of time here on earth. And I know it's scary. Like, your parents want you to have a stable income. You want to buy a house, get a car, have a family. But yeah, like I always think like once you have all that, like what next?
Mm.
You get the car, you get the house, the wife, family, and then what's the next step after that?
It's a very, very, very interesting way to look at it, bro.
Yeah,
Very interesting way, man. And I think I agree with you to an extent. I've just let it all happen in God's timing. Let it
yeah,
happen in his timing, bro. I mean, I think that's the best part about living life with him is allowing him to take control, allowing him to time it out for you.
yeah.
Um,
And the thing is, like, it doesn't happen all at once. It took time. Like I had a chat. I forgot who I had a chat with someone, but they were talking about how Joseph. It did not happen all at once. There was like stages in his life.
yeah.
There was like years between that, and then he came up.
And that's the interesting part. When you read the Bible, you just see, and 30 years later, this happened.
Yeah,
But you don't see what happened in that 30 years.
Ah.
It's important to be patient in those years and just let God work in those
yeah.
time frames that we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Mate, I love talking to you. We don't get
Yeah.
to do it enough.
Yeah.
We always try to set up lunches, set up dinners, and it just never happens.
Something comes up, or
Even putting this thing together, we both had to move things around because for some reason,
I was like, I don't know if I could do it.
for some reason, you're the hardest person in the world to contact. Number one, you are the worst with your phone. And number two, I had to run into church this afternoon as well. So we had to move it around, but we got it to work, man.
No, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Let's hope next time we do this face to face rather than on Zoom, eh?
Yeah. Get a good feed, man.
Done, bro. Where can people...
I want to eat something.
Bro, I got to bring you over for a barbecue. We'll do it. For
done.
sure. Where can the people find you, man, on social media?
Instagram. Where's my phone? I don't even know what my name is.
Is it Yohan De Silva? I was pretty sure it was something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, Yohan 4155.
Yohan 41.
Just write Yohan De Silva. It'll just come up.
Guys, he's doing some good things at Southland Baptist Church. Pray for them at the moment. Yohan, thanks for talking to me, bro.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man. Listen, boys and girls, ladies and gents, subscribe to us, like the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. It helps us out a lot. Mate, thanks for talking to me. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. All right. See you later.